Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 2 in a series between SK's MC and Grubby, I guess, here on Daybreak. If you guys didn't know, Grubby is part of Team Grubby, so it's Team Grubby's Grubby, spawning as the red Protoss player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, SK's MC spawning on the top right-hand side of the map as the blue Protoss. Protoss versus Protoss once more, and game 1 was really a very just calculated game by MC. MC keeping track, knowing that he has his Grubby contained, and he basically knew the timing and was watching the timing at how long he could contain his opponent. He knew, okay, you need how much time in order to get a robotic spay, and then after that, how much time it takes for you to even chrono boost out a Colossus in order to try and break down that force field contain that I was doing on you. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there look and try to keep track and see if you will be able to replicate that strategy. And I gotta tell you, that strategy is actually a little bit more difficult than it looks, just because how much map awareness it takes in order to pull that off. Now, it looks as though Grubby is looking for any proxy pylons inside his base. Taking a look around, doesn't see anything, as he is now gonna be moving out and taking a look at his opponent. So far, both of these players perhaps really expecting cheese or heavy pressure tactics. A bit surprised that they haven't seen any, and now Grubby is just gonna simply head back home. He's gonna set up another pylon here and now continue to go back to work. And we should be seeing a Cybernetics core slightly faster from MC. But Grubby has a slight economic advantage right now, sitting at 17/18. I am a little curious as to where exactly that additional probe is coming from. 17 versus 16, as MC was the one that I believe scouted at about the same time. So both of these players are pretty much neck and neck. It may come from the fact that there was how much energy is left, as we see a beautiful gas block coming in from MC. Now, with a gas block on MC, Grubby pretty much doesn't have that many options. If he wants, he can perhaps try to set up a fast expansion here, but he's not going to be able to get up his... he's not going to be able to... Oh, a beautiful strategy here. This was always one of those things that I always wanted to see. A probe who actually grabs minerals, grabs gas, jumps inside here. He's going to jump inside it and then drop the minerals inside there and then make his way back out and perhaps grab more minerals again and then go back and forth. This is actually an effective way at stealing economy from your opponent, as only Protoss players can do. As the Protoss probe doesn't need... A Protoss probe does not need to actually babysit a building as it's being built. So there you go. There is that assimilator now. Oh, is he going to go for another gas block? Yes, he does. And MC just causing an absolute nightmare and headache for Grubby, as we now see a 4-gate attempt. All right, this is perhaps one of the most interesting variations I've seen in quite some time. Basically, what MC did here was he said, you know what? I'm going to deny your gas. And then not only am I going to deny your gas, I am going to 4-gate you, so I know you will not have that much gas for Immortals and Stalkers when the time comes. You can see the robotics facility about to come in, and now Grubby forced to play into a much more defensive fashion. I'm trying to actually set up a nexus. This is a bit of a risky maneuver, as additional zealots would be very helpful at this point. We're going to see the proxy pylon now set up. We can see that there are only 3 warp gates here. And with that, with only 3 warp gates, that means that this is not going to be a true 4-gate attempt at all. You can also see the Nexus taking a bit of damage here. More units could be warping in here. Yes, Stalkers warping in on the far side, as we now see Zealots making their way out. Stalkers have engaged off over here, and the Zealots now know that they do not have the numbers to deal with this attack. An Immortal perhaps being chrono boosted out. It is trying to make their way out in a Herbie. Grubby is just buying himself time at this point, as we see the total losses for Grubby at 200 compared to just 75 for MC. which I am a bit surprised about, as there was I thought there was another gas block warped in there. Perhaps that was my imagination, as we are going to see more and more stalkers now make their way out. All right, here we go. What's going to be happening next? We can perhaps actually see the stalkers try to charge up the ramp, perhaps a force field to push back the zealots, but then there will still be this pesky immortal to deal with. Immortals are very, very great at just destroying stalkers, as we now see Grubby has full sight on what exactly MC's doing. MC, a variation of what he did in game 1, is now doing the same thing in game 2, but there's only one sentry here. Are the immortals actually going to be able to shoot down onto the low ground? That would actually be an interesting sight there, as the MC could just block the ramp and push the units back. Oh, MC asleep at the wheel. Oh my gosh, a horrible, horrible timing, as the immortals are just going to clean up this attack very easily. MC asleep at the wheel for just the wrong moment, as the immortal going to finish off some stalkers here. All right, it looks as though another stalker is going to get taken down. 3 stalkers, or 4 stalkers now coming in from Grubby. And now this is the strong counterattack. Stalkers are going to try and get away. Will they be able to do exactly that, as the observer knows what exactly is going on inside MC's base? Grubby taking a bit of a chance and really capitalizing on it, as we now see him throw down a Nexus behind this. All right, MC, things have completely changed. I would a minute and a half ago, I would say MC has this game. He knows what exactly to do. It's just going to be a repeat of what we saw in game 1, but that is not the case any longer. All right, Phoenix is now making their way out, trying to clean up some of these stalkers, but that is not going to work out at all, as stalkers are going to get cleaned up. Some of these Phoenixes may get cleaned up as well. 1 stalker down to 48 hit points, as we now see a warp prism of Grubby warping in zealots straight up inside the main. Phoenix is now going after the units as zealots are being dropped off. Are we perhaps going to go into phase mode once more? No, I do not believe so. The Phoenixes are just trying to clean this up. You can see it is stationary. Zealots are fighting back here, as now the stalkers are going to finish up the natural expansion here. Only a couple minerals were mined, not enough to really pay for it, as MC losing his natural expansion without much to really show for it. All right, what's going on here? Oh, a sentry may get picked off. Yes, it does. Sentries, very, very weak and vulnerable units when fighting up against Phoenixes, and the Phoenixes, although very expensive, are great at harassing and shutting down these immortals, as immortals are completely immobilized and unable to do anything else. Grubby now running up on 2 bases. Is it going to be enough? MC now sitting at 50 over 50 supply compared to Grubby's 62. This is about a 20% advantage, as Grubby now chrono boosting all of his warp gates. Should be able to warp in more units here in just a moment. Stalkers pushing back those Phoenixes again, as MC now at a bit of a loss for what to do. Phoenix is still flying around in circles, doing just patterns in the sky right now. Where are they going to be traveling to next? Stalkers of Grubby looking for those Phoenixes. Grubby now with 4 warp gates and 1 robotics facility, the same number of production buildings at the very least as MC, as he has a Stargate and 1 less gateway. And what will be happening now? We have a 22 supply advantage, so Grubby still sitting very, very nicely on a 22 supply advantage. Meanwhile, MC now going into Immortals. The Stalkers with Blink will be able to shut down these Phoenixes, being able to blink up underneath and shoot them down slowly but surely, as the Zealots and Immortals just try to reclaim their expansion. Coming off over here, Grubby now sitting at how many harvesters? 37 harvesters compared to 29. This is just an absolute cakewalk for Grubby at this stage. 91 supply compared to 70. Grubby has the clear advantage, 97 compared to 74. And he's just going to simply walk up in here and try and take down these Phoenixes. I don't believe or suspect there to be an issue at all. Stalkers are not upgraded though. No arms race in a Protoss versus Protoss, as all of these, all of this destructible debris will get taken down, and the Stalkers will be making their way up here in just a second. Here we are. There is a bit of a flank. Zealots coming in and Stalkers coming in from both sides. Stalkers straight up blink on top of the Immortals, and now finishing up a second Immortal, and now perhaps a third with 3 Immortals gone. I believe that will be all the DPS coming in from MC's army. Phoenix is now looking to perhaps finish the job, but this is still rather difficult for Phoenixes to do, as Immortals are very beefy, and even if they get picked up once, they almost need to get picked up twice. There is the GG, as MC loses Game 2, evening up the series at 1 game apiece. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2.